Welcome to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. I've got Garrett Sutton, CEO, founder, and Corporate Direct, here with me. All right, Garrett, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Michael. Good to be here again.
My pleasure. All right, let's talk about corporate security. I think that's where you want to go with this today, right?
Right. Maintaining your corporation so it continues to protect you.
All right. Lead us down the garden path. What the first thing is keeping your corporation up to date. Talk to me about that.
Well, if we don't keep the corporation up to date, if we don't follow these simple rules, the results can be pretty dramatic. Someone can say, you didn't follow the corporate formalities. The corporation owes me money because the corporation wasn't up to date, didn't follow the formalities. We get to pierce through the corporation and go after your personal assets. So the whole reason you set up the corporation or LLC was to be protected. And by failing to follow these simple rules, you can lose everything. They can go through the corporation and get to your personal assets.
How often does this happen?
50% of the time. So it just means that people aren't following these formalities, right? They're not paying the annual fees to the state. They're not holding their annual meetings. And they're not filing separate tax returns for the business. These are all arguments that someone who has a judgment against the corporation, and the corporation has no money in it, can then use, they go back to court, they show that the corporation didn't follow the rules, and the judge says, you're right, the corporation didn't act like a corporation. We're going to allow the creditor to go through the corporation and get at the shareholders' personal assets. So this is not something we want to happen. We work with clients from around the world, and our job, in part, is to make sure that their corporations are properly maintained.
Let me ask you this real quick question.
Yeah.
Let's say that a shareholder, you're just talking shareholders, not just not board members or corporate officers, shareholders.
Right.
So as long as they're a shareholder, they're at risk if the corporation doesn't take care of the formalities that it needs to take care of to put these protection policies in place. Is that right?
Right. And typically it would be a smaller situation where you'd have one or two shareholders, right? A giant corporation, it's not going to be an issue. If you're a shareholder of General Motors, this is not an issue for you. But if you're running a landscaping business and you're the shareholder of it and you can't pay your bills within the corporation or LLC, and you say, I'm sorry, I don't have any money in here, the person trying to collect from you can go to court and say, they never followed the rules here. And the court will say, yes, the shareholders of this corporation or LLC are personally responsible for the obligations. So we just want to follow these easy rules so this never happens to us.
That's something a lot of people, as shareholders, don't really consider the liability of investing in a company.
Right.
They don't think about that.
Right.
Wow.
They don't. And so you just want to make sure that when you invest in a company, that you're investing in a company that appreciates the need to follow these formalities, right? You don't want a company that doesn't file its tax returns, that doesn't pay its fees to the state, right? Mm-hmm. That doesn't do the annual minutes. And people say, well, geez, I have to write down these minutes, a record of the meeting, but note they're called minutes, not hours. I mean, it's really easy to prepare these corporate minutes. So you just need to be vigilant on it. And we help our clients with this. We want to make sure no one has their veil pierced.
I agree. Anything else for today?
Well, I think that the fact that 50% of the time the veil is pierced is just kind of an indication of how many people aren't really following the rules. Now, here's the thing, Michael. If you haven't followed the corporate formalities for a couple years, we can help clean it up. We have a corporate cleanup service where if you call us, you say, I haven't kept up with this. We can help you bring it back to a current state of acceptance.
Great. Garrett, thanks for being the guest on today and helping us protect ourselves. We're so busy trying to make the money that a lot of people don't think there's something else you need to watch your six. Thanks for covering that.
Right. Take care, Michael.
All right, we'll talk to you soon. You've been watching CEO Money with Michael Yorba. Thanks for joining us. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.